And with that, we return, folks. It's time for Game 2 in this best of 3. NaVi, they got wrecked in game number 1. Some big plays with the replicate baits. Courier getting killed off early on. Chronosphere attempts by Funnick. Couldn't even kill a Batrider solo. It was just a disaster of a game for them. Fortunately for NaVi, though, it's a best of 3. Last time they faced Power Rangers, they dropped game 1. They at least bounced back in game 2, and, well, they ended up losing the deciding game 3. But clearly a team that can go blow for blow with them, and with that said, the draft is now underway. They ban out the Necrophos and the Batrider, 2 of the stars of the last series, which leaves the Cheshire Cat Puck in the pool immediately grabbed up. Once again, we behold the horn. NaVi will grab the mag for the 6th time this tournament for Dendy, by far his most played hero. And, well, to break it down for us, I'm not alone. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Blitz. Hey, buddy.
What up?
Sup, homie?
Nothing much.
Am I allowed to say homie?
Coffee. Yeah, you can say homie. It just sounds really awkward coming out of you. You're not the type of guy that I'm thinking is going to say the word homie in their day-to-day LD.
I reserve it for special occasions, and anytime I cast with you is one of those.
Awesome. It just sounds so awkward. It sounds like... Oh, never mind. I'll tell that story another time.
Oh my god.
I've got more stories for your thing.
Oh, great. That's what I need. Blitz
I've got
stories.
some BTS moments. Dude, this one's a doozy. You're going to like this one.
I don't like your doozies. I've had bad experiences with them.
No, this is a good doozy. It's not weird or perverted, and it doesn't involve me peeing on some dude. This is like a normal one.
5 seconds.
I'm already queuing up the BTS moment recording. Just whenever you're
thank
ready, just give me a little advance warning so I can make sure we have it on record. But we move into the second phase of the draft here. NaVi will ban out the Brood Mama. This is something that has been run once, I believe, so far in the tournament by Power Rangers. They ran it for Cheshire Cat. He's almost always the Puck player, though. So, actually, yeah, every time they picked Puck, he did play it in the 3 position in the off lane. So, not sure if they would have actually run it this game, but either way, NaVi, not wanting to get cheese, they will just go ahead, ban it out. Brew also banned. Brew and Jug both ignored in the first phase. Pretty unusual.
Yeah, Jug seems to be the type of hero that you first pick, or I just don't see it very often. I don't know if it was exactly the hero last game. I think with the Void, maybe the Void being played as the short lane and then picking some sort of do-shit offlaner would have been a better idea for NaVi. I definitely don't think they should draft like they did last game, where they just went for the all-in team fights. I think having a balanced lineup is always stronger, because the only way that NaVi wins that game, if you really think about it, is that every single fight has to go perfectly. Like, they have to get spell after spell in conjunction, because they're not going to be able to get pickoffs without Lion getting a Blink Dagger safely. Like, you have to expend ultimates just to get a single kill in that game.
Well,
So I think NaVi just has to draft a little bit more balanced.
we're going to see the kind of the opposite direction for Power Rangers. They go for the big combo fights here. Get Gyrocopter, a hero that can fight often with the very low cooldown ultimate, and the Puck Witch Doctor Void, so mass AoE backing up this Chronosphere. NaVi going for big ultimates of their own. The Tidehunter and Mag both secured. If they're not picking Rubik, I imagine they're going to want to go ahead and ban it out with this last ban.
Yeah, I think Power Rangers would definitely be okay taking the Rubik again. The problem, though, is Rubik and Witch Doctor is a bit greedy, because if you want Rubik to get farm, that means you're conceding that the Witch Doctor isn't going to be getting the Ags, and I feel like that, in some ways, is a mistake. Like, there's not too much synergy between those two heroes. I think the thing I like, though, most about Power Rangers' lineup is that although they did go for these big teamfight ultimates, they can actually fight 4-on-5 with Puck, Witch Doctor, Faceless Void, and whatever 5th hero they decide to go. Like, they don't need Gyrocopter too early.
All right, the Keeper of the Light. Something that Power Rangers did run earlier this tournament, actually. I wouldn't say it's a go-to by any means. Sneako's support, I think they ran it with I want to say it was with either an Earthshaker or a Zeus support. Probably an ES. Can't remember off the top of my head, but more synergy with the Chronosphere, I suppose. A lot of AoE to back it up, and well, it's a lineup that you can benefit from moving around. You relocate this Faceless Void, or recall him, I should say, across the map, and you might just be able to set up some easy kills. So definitely not a go-to pick by any means. Normally when we see the Keeper of the Light, historically it's either to help a really good split pusher like a Phantom Lancer, or it's to stop pushes in their tracks. Neither of which NaVi really have, but I guess the other thing, Will, is they're going to have Mono versus this Medusa, which could be a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of annoying, but Medusa's going to be a walking tower.
That's true. She tends
She's
to
not
just
really
sit
going to run.
there, yeah.
Yeah, she just kind of hits things, and you fight around her.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to get 5 force stabs, and then they're going to Mono her.
Oh, and then just pink on her?
Yeah, then she'll lose all her mana.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like the Keeper of the Light pick too much, because traditionally you're going to see it as a hero that counter pushes and stuff like that, but NaVi aren't going to go for pushes with. They're definitely okay with going to the late game with this Medusa.
Prepare for battle.
This is some serious 5-man Dota from both teams. Like, there's a little bit of ganking prowess, but a lot of huge AoE ultimates. RP, Ravage, the Dusa ulti, your Chronosphere, your Call Down, Keeper of the Light just with the Illuminate, Witch Doctor ult, and a Puck Coil to round things out. I'm hoping for some big 5v5 clashes. With that said, guys, we get underway. Game 2 of the best of 3. NaVi Radiant, PR Dire, PR leading. The Power Rangers, known as the NaVi Slayers, looking to do it once more. They just need one win, and they'll face Hellraisers in your grand finals. And with that, we introduce Power Rangers. Suniko on that huge Rubik last time. He'll be on the Keeper of the Light this time around. J4, the Witch Doctor, going safe lane is Ditya Ra with the big Morphling replicate plays. Last time, he'll look for some more on the Gyro. Shachlo playing the Puck, one of his most common heroes. Sometimes, usually Cheshire Cat, but sometimes they do switch it up, and indeed that will be the case this time around, as Cheshire Cat is on the Faceless Void. For NaVi, Godblack, the new drafter and leader for the squad, on the Ogre. He's their new big pickup. Havos playing the Dusa. Thankscore, the Venge. Funnick on your off-lane Tide. Already took a bit of harass, and it puts Dendy once more onto the mag, rushing the bottle.
I think I actually favor PR's lineup again, though, in this situation. It seems like they have better ways to fight without being so item-dependent. I think if you look at Navi's lineup, they're again kind of hampered by the fact that they have to fight around the RP or the Ravage. Mm-hmm. And aside from that, it doesn't look like... I mean, Tide and Mag aren't heroes that individually put out a lot of damage by themselves, whereas PR seems to have a lot more spell-based heroes that can easily put out a lot of damage. Like Puck's a hero that can do a whole lot early. Keeper of the Light, I mean, it's not ideal because Illuminate is like a slow-moving like lava formation. I don't know what the analogy or the metaphor to use here is, but it's not really reliable damage. But they do have things like the Witch Doctor ultimate, the call down from Gyrocopter. Like Gyrocopter's not that bad of an early game carry, especially with the new homing missile.
That thing is unbelievably annoying to lane against. Oh, Funnick, he's not gonna fun. And that's the other. There's the 4-staff missile plays. So I'm telling you, man, the 5 4-staff trad, it's super legit this game.
Yeah, this might actually be like the one game where you're being like, where you're kidding, but it would actually kind of work out for them.
It would be funny if nothing else, but yeah, I think you make a good point that NaVi lack that reliable AoE follow-up damage to go with their big AoE ults. Like they have Shockwave and Ravage. Obviously later on, Dusa can dish out a ton when she's farmed, but
yeah, you have to wait for that point.
PR, as soon as they get call down and have already having Illuminate and Witch Doctor ult, they already have a lot, like just from their spells. So they don't need the items to dish it out, and that will be a bit of a worry for NaVi. I do want to point out they managed to deward this. I think the Obs was actually placed over here blocking the camp, and Funnick will look for some stacks now around that 2-minute mark. So not having a good time in the off lane, but as a Tide Hunter, he can look to catch up here.
Yeah, he has a much easier way of catching up than this Void, but this Void is actually doing quite good right now. If you look at his net worth, I know it doesn't mean too much in like the very opening stage of the game, but he's actually got more than the Puck does, yeah.
That's 7 CS. The supports are not zoning him out. Vangscore's just farming the safe lane, and they're running a Venge Ogre. 2 of the better zoning supports generally, but against a Void, he's just not afraid. Picks up that early rate of protection, and he's going to hide in the trees. He actually goes right by Godblack. Wow. I don't think they saw each other. Now he's going to wind his way out. Godblack, where's the Void? What's going on here?
What was that voice?
That's the confused Ogre voice.
That's your... I can see your like head moving around while you're saying that.
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Don't do impressions.
I don't know!
Oh my god, it just gets worse. This is like the worst dad joke moment I've ever been in Dota.
Before it can get better, Will, it has to get worse.
It's just it can get worse than this.
Oh, it can always get worse. Don't test me.
Oh, did he actually have to place a second sentry to find that ward there?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it
he
was
did.
just out of range.
Yeah, he was pretty unlucky with the first one, but he knows that it has to be in the lane for the second one, so they're able to find it. But Cheshire Cat, even with that ward there, even before he took it down, he was getting quite a lot out of this off lane, which is a bit surprising. Because like you said, Ogre does a really good job of harassing them out. Maybe he just had a good range block on the creep. I didn't actually see though, because I was watching the mid lane.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at it. You're always watching the mid lane.
I really am,
Freaking
but I
mid-player.
have to imagine that's what happened. Like, if you let the range creep slip through as the offlaner and Navi forgets to block forward and tank the range creep damage, then it actually does push the lane out, and it makes it a little bit easier. And I think that is what happened, because I saw Cheshire Cat's creeps at the tower at one point, and that's how he got the majority of his levels.
So they're going to put Suniko off in the jungle now, and obviously this is one of the big strengths of Keeper of the Light as a support. We saw it a lot recently from Secret. It used to be the old Alliance way, where you just keep on stacking the jungle, and a hero that can farm stacks efficiently, either taking them for himself or just setting his teammates up for some sweet, sweet gold early. As Suniko walks by a bounty rune, they'll probably leave this one for Shadeshaw. His bottle now in the way. He's going to orb in, hit one more creep, and he'll now retreat out. But Dendy's on the chase. He's got a level 2 skewer. Can't really go on this puck, and he'll end up just backing off.
Yeah, he wasn't going to go for any funny business there. The problem, though, with this Tide is he's going to get a little bit more reliable farm than the Void is, but he keeps leaving the lane sporadically to just go and pull the Ancients, and it means the supports can just play really extremely greedy. Like, they don't have to devote anybody to zoning the Tide out, and if you notice, that's the only way that Suneko's able to get away with stuff like this. Just, like, go to the jungle and stack. And the Witch Doctor's getting levels himself, too, because he doesn't have to share the pull XP, and he can actually just dual lane with the Gyro here at top once he gets a few more levels.
Speaking of that Gyro, Dityara, it continues to level up the homing missile, gets it to level 2, but now he holds a skill point, so he won't continue leveling unless he sees that Tidehunter in lane. Then maybe he'll take the 3rd point. Otherwise, we may just see him start grabbing some points in the flat cannon or even leveling up the Rocket Barrage. Though Rocket Barrage is pretty decent at level 1. You get half your damage, essentially, from the first point, and from there you take 3 more points and double it. So similar to Blade Fury, I feel, where you can level it up, but it's not essential to. Main thing with Blade Fury is the cooldown goes on a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely not that big of a deal on Gyrocopter. There was like a period where you would get the Rocket Barrage a little bit more, but ever since they buffed the shit out of that homing missile, there's no real point.
They really did buff the crap out of it. And he will go back for a pointed flat cannon. So wants to give himself some potential here to farm the stacks that Keeper of the Light is creating, although Keeper of the Light is actually the one to take them for himself right now. Top lane, on Funnick, they'll go with the Rocket Barrage. He gets shred to pieces as they'll get the quick kill there. J4 now stunned, but no follow-up possible from Bankscore. Man, that was an easy kill.
Yeah, there's just too much to set up for him, and I think maybe Funnick should have just continued to stack the Ancients and not even bothered to show up, because once he gets hit by a homing missile and if he's in range, they're definitely going to chase him down every single time. Like, it does so much damage. Tide's typically a hero that's really tanky, but when you're only level 2, you don't have anything besides boots and the stout shield. You're not really going to be able to contest this lane much. Whereas if this Void is getting quite a lot out of the off lane, like he's almost level 5 already. Once he gets level 6, him plus any support on his team can pretty much set up a kill for anybody.
And he's also he's not tanky against magic damage, which is exactly what they have in spades here. Shadeshaw moving through, wants to go on Havos bottom lane. He holds, for now, the coil. They're not even going to need it. Havos only then getting on the Mana Shield, but it's far too late as he's easily brought down. PR off to the races in this game number 2. 2-0. Another kill, a 600 gold swing on the back of that, pushing their lead over 1,000 gold. And closing on 2,000 experience very early. And good news, Medusa still CSing well, and Magnus the same, but after those two, the rest of Navi just having an abysmal time.
Yeah, Funnick especially is having an awful time up here at top. Like, he can't even farm those Ancient stacks until he hits, like, level 5. Especially since I think there's 2 Ancient Granite Golems, and now that they give the aura that gives everybody extra health, it's going to take him forever just to kill those at level 3. There's no neutral camp stacks for him. Like, look at this. He's been rocketed twice. He's got 700, or he's got 80 health now, and he's got to run back to base already. Like, he just walked up there, walked back.
Getting aggressive on Godblack. He has a Chronosphere online. They have a little backup in tow as Bankscore will walk in. They get the secondary stun. Venge follows this up, but he still has Time Walk. He'll make it back to safety. In the meantime, your Tide sticking around for a very long time. As you mentioned, he's extremely low. He shows himself. Dityara, no mana for a missile. And they will end up backing out J4, but he drops an Observer Ward in this lane. Maybe they set up a kill with this later on. This is a lot of pressure early onto Funnick, who I have to say, Will, he used to be, like, I'd say, you go back to TI3, he was maybe even the shining star of NaVi. Remember Darkseer play in one of their games where he vacuumed 3-4 heroes onto this cliff, dropped the wall there, and just wrecked them in the dire jungle, but he has struggled a lot in this qualifier. It's been Dendy and Havos pulling most of the weight.
I think it's just that the hero pools have definitely changed. Like, he was known for heroes like you said, Darkseer, Wind Ranger, like the individual YOLO skill heroes.
Clinks as well. In some
yeah,
cases.
Exactly. And now things have just kind of petered out to the fact that you're getting primarily teamfight heroes in the off lane, and it doesn't really seem to be his strength. I mean, he's still doing all the right things here in the off lane, but it's just not too much. The Medusa actually picks up a solo kill on a Void.
No backtrack, just runs him down with the Mystic Snake and ends up getting off that last auto attack right before the Snake hits. Gets the kill, much needed for Havost. Finally, NaVi getting something on the board now. Score 2-1. Saniko still AFK in the woods. He hits level 5. Your Witch Doctor also level 5, so they preserve their support level advantage. Both teams with the big AoE combo gaming, so you never really know how this game will shake out, even after the laning stage ends. But for now, PR still hanging on to a pretty decent lead, despite that death.
Oh man, poor Funnick. He's had to just like ferry himself salves, and he sits up here. He doesn't get a whole lot. He's only level 4. Doing that ancient stack is going to be pointless at this time. It would just take him so long. So he has to sit up here and get levels. Like, this is the right thing that Funnick is doing. It's just a miserable game. Gyrocopter seems to do a really good job against Tidehunter in general. And finally, he's going to be able to get some XP, but then Dendy comes up here.
Oh, it's my turn to take a rocket to the face. Let's just get blasted by that gyro. Nobody's having fun in this top lane.
Yeah, I'm not actually quite sure why Dendy rotated up here. Because he just wasted his TP, and then he's going to have to walk back to the mid lane.
Maybe he thought PR was going to push with 3 and pop that heal and really go for it, but they don't have the best pushing lineup.
Yeah, and the Keeper of the Light isn't even showing in the lane. He just continues to farm, and he's going to actually get a pretty quick mech, and he's going to be able to solo defend this bottom tower out right now.
They have Chrono. He can maybe go for Havost if they bring in one more mid lane. Godblack moves in onto Shadeshell. They have an RP skewer available. He gets RP'd. Dendy turning as he drops it. Now skewering him back into tower range. Shockwave quickly. Not able to get off that phase shift as it was just cooling down. Nice kill there.
Yeah, that was huge for Dendy because he's about to pick up his Blink Dagger as well now. And just with the Blink coming in at the 10-minute mark, he can get really aggressive. And he's going to even stack for Funnick.
Funnick salving again just to live through these missiles. Oh my.
Boy, we're going to die? Yeah.
This top lane is just a wrecking crew from PR. Your second kill for the Gyrocopter. They're pushing the tower, and it's only 2 heroes. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Havost, he had to Stone Gaze as Cheshire Cat went in. Maybe looking for that Chrono Illuminate combination. And they'll just keep on pushing. The tower falls. It goes the way of the dire side. No last hit for Dityara. And, well, I'm curious what you think, Will, about the item build for the Gyrocopter. We've seen a lot of different ways to play this. Silent has been favoring a Yasha rush recently. There's drums pick up. Oh, hold that thought. Jump onto Havost bottom lane. Illuminate being channeled. I'm not sure it's enough.
That was so weird. They can't have gone for that kill because it's right by a tower. Like, somebody's gonna come in because it takes too long to kill the post.
Oh, big skewer mid by Dendy. No follow up. But yeah, what do you think as far as gyro builds nowadays go? Drums first here. Saw Yasha from Silent. I've seen Silent occasionally has gone for an early Midas rush and sometimes even Dominator after that, or just Dominator straight away. You think it's completely situational? Is there a build that you prefer right now in the hero, or?
No, I think it's situational. I really like drums. I think the hero needs some sort of HP, and I don't really like the BKB rush too much. I think if you go BKB first, you're essentially saying we're gonna win the game with this BKB. So I think going just the drums for the stats, the ability to catch up. Like, he's gotten a 2nd level of Rocket Barrage now too, so he's definitely looking to go for these pickoffs with his team. So I think drums Yasha here is the right idea because he'll move really quickly with it.
Oh, they're looking to run over this mid lane now, bringing in the entire squadron. 5 heroes straight towards the Radiant jungle. No wards dropped yet, just hanging out. Cheshire Cat gonna farm some neutrals. They don't actually have Chronosphere, but that is not phasing them in the slightest. As Saniko will look to steal some more neutrals. Dendy getting some vision thanks to the Bang Score initiation with the Wave of Terror. There's a Skewer back on 2. They will pay for their insolence, and there's no real way to turn this. Shachel maybe goes in for a coil solo kill and Goblek. He'll get it. And Cheshire Cat's like, well, not sure what I'm supposed to do here. I'm just going to kind of hang out. He ends up retreating out. Rocket will follow Dendy, bringing him back towards the tier 2, and they're doing this without Funnick, who hits level 6, finally has Ravage, still no items to speak of. Just a Ring of Protection, a Boots of Speed, and a Stout. At 13 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of expect that, especially against the Gyrocopter, and he does have these comeback stacks to go to, which he started working on. And the bigger news is that he has hit level 6 now, so if PR goes over aggressive, he can just TP in and Ravage. But aside from that, he's not going to offer too much more. Oh, and they actually get a kill on the puck too.
A lot of pickoffs here. NaVi starting to bounce back on because of them. Is the Ancients will be farmed now, as you mentioned. Diara gonna go back to the top lane and pressure, but you know the thing that was weird about that movement is just that they didn't have Chronosphere. Like if they had Chrono there, I feel they get 2-3 kills with the Gyrocopter follow up and easily wipe NaVi, or at least force them back. But without it, they just stick around a bit too long and get punished.
I think the bigger issue here though is that Dendy's picked up such a quick Blink Dagger. And that was the key in that last fight, whereas the puck doesn't have one yet, so he has to rely on using his Illusory Orb to initiate, and it's a little bit too dangerous. And PR have really squishy supports. Until this Keeper of the Light manages to pick up a mech, each of them have under 800 HP, which is just enough to kill.
They have a coil, and they're going to jump in mid lane onto Bang Score. Rocket's Ward drop. They use the cooldown and engage. At the same time, a Stone Gaze comes out from a Vosh, holding Cheshire Cat in position. He gets turned into Granite. And now the RP from Denny. Again, a push back, but has no skewer follow-up, so he just scurries way to the north. They can't really follow this one up. Cheshire Cat also retreating. A lonely Venge killed off. That's going to be it. Rocket following Denny. Won't be enough to kill him, but we'll force him back. Finally, Funnick arrives to do battle. But battling time is over. Everybody just walking away.
Yeah, if he actually had HP and mana there and he had TP'd in, when Vanscore did the right thing. He hid himself in that hole, and it took them forever to kill him because they didn't actually have a lot of heroes right-clicking him. If the Tidehunter, imagine if Tide could have TP'd in while they were like in that small sinkhole on top of the RP, I think that would have been a wipe for them, but I mean, Funnick was doing the stack, which is the correct thing to do. You can't really predict a fight like that's going to happen, and he's been so underfarmed at this point in the game. So he has to use these opportunities to try to catch up. But the problem for NaVi right now is that they absolutely need the RP for damage.
And ideally these like 2-3 hero skewers as well, just to pull PR very far out of position. PR gonna move into the bottom lane. Chaicho silencing the creeps, now spots Havos, gets eyes on him. Cheshire Cat walks in, but he's got no chrono. Not that it phases him in the slightest. He still moves forward. Goblek in danger as a missile will chase him. Dityara's going to go up the hill. Do they have detection on the side of NaVi? They have a sentry on the Ogre, actually. Dityara thinking about an engage. He has call down. They have to know. Call down now drops. Zoning Funnick back. Uh-oh. Can they steal the stacks? Flat Cannon's online soon.
I feel like this is a bad idea, though, to go for the stack. It would put them so out of position. And if Dityara just gets ravaged here, there's not a whole lot that PR can do to counter-initiate. But they are bringing in the Void right now.
Yeah, with the Keeper of the Light. He's ready to rock and roll, and Dityara will walk in. This is a big economic turn if they can grab it.
Gonna go for this.
Huge Ravage to start. Well, a good one, but I say huge. There's not huge if there's no follow-up. Witch Doctor will pop. Everybody on the way out, they're all kept alive, just barely surviving as Dityara. They end up getting the Ogre kill. At the same time, the puck is pierced and brought down. The Ancients end up falling. Havos chasing out. I think Havos got most of those, right? He's up to 1950 gold now.
Yeah, I don't know if they should have... Like I said, fighting there was really awkward because you just traded an Ogre for a puck and no objectives were traded at all. And the puck had to go in like that just to stop the mag from being able to get a big RP, but you don't want to just use puck as a preventative measure like that. And fighting in those enclosed spaces, Funnick of course was going to get a big RP off. Or, not a big RP, a big Ravage off. And he was able to catch both core heroes. It left the Gyrocopter and the Void with some 300 odd HP, and then after that, how do you fight?
Speaking of that mag, Dendy, well, not able to get the jump in that fight, but it means he's ready to go now. Bringing himself near Havost. He'll hide on the high ground. And Pierre gonna back off. Let's see, can they go for some sort of play here mid? Nobody's showing at the moment.
I think you just send the Keeper of the Light to spam out his waves, his horses.
He just got eyes on Sanika, will RP this one, then skewers him back into the team. It's an RP for Keeper of the Light, but kill secured, brought down by the Medusa.
That's honestly perfectly okay, because he's the only way that they defend this tower in the first place. So I think with a Keeper of the Light down, you can go for the tower if you wish. RP was expended, but it should be okay. I mean, I guess Funnick doesn't have Ravage, so they just back off here. I would have maybe liked to see them go for a little bit more, because the Keeper of the Light's going to respawn in 7 seconds here anyways. So maybe they just waited a little bit too long for their opportunity. And Havos just goes to farm the jungle. He is going to get his Lincolns really quickly, though. And once he has that, how does PR actually kill him? I think without a Witch Doctor Ags, it's going to be nearly impossible.
If he gets Stone Gaze off, Medusa just matches up so well against Void. Like, you go in for the Chrono, and you just Stone Gaze, and they just can't follow it up. It doesn't matter if you have your BKBs, you still have to turn and run away, so I feel like NaVi have great tools to deal with that Chronosphere initiation, assuming the Stone Gaze, even if he doesn't get it off, they have the Blink Ravage to potentially can't deal with it. They also have the swap from Venge. There's just a lot of tools to slow Cheshire Cat down in these team fights. As well as the follow-up damage from like a Gyrocopter or even the Witch Doctor you mentioned.
Yeah, I think the Medusa was actually the huge pickup here. And like we said, NaVi are really incredibly reliant on items. But I mean, they've gotten them at a really reasonable pace. Like, Dendy's pretty much got everything he needs for full mobility. He's got his Blink Dagger and his Force Staff at 19 minutes already. I mean, this Medusa's massive. She's got a Lincoln's and a Yasha already. So as far as damage goes, she's not lacking for it anymore. So when NaVi goes for their big wombo combos with their Ravage, with their RP, they are going to have damage to back this up.
And Havos is just continuing to take advantage of these Ancients, clearing out yet another stack. They now get a Medallion on the Venge. Can be used, as you mentioned earlier, to buff up that Medusa even further, or just to try and bring somebody on the PR side down quicker in the upcoming fights. And crucially for NaVi, they continue to hold this tier 1 mid. If this tower drops, then PR have a lot of ways to get up into that Ancient stack, but unable to do it, they're really struggling to slow them down.
Yeah.
It's so important for just the control of like this area of the map.
Yeah, and I think PR, remember, they went for it when they went for this Ancient stack, but that was definitely the wrong time to go for it. They had to push down that tier 1 mid, like you said, before they could have made any sort of move. Because they had no way of flanking or anything like that. The only way they approach is by the tower, or they have to go through the Ancient stack right there. It's just too dangerous at that point. And now Havos is huge. He's got Bloodlust on him. He's got the Medallion of Courage. They are using it on him. 21 armor. Plus 200 HP. He's got Empower as well on him, and Bloodlust, and the Medallion.
And the Venjara and Wave of Terror back here.
You're just turning him into a moving tower.
He is definitely super Dusa. The thing is, it looked like PR with that early start would just be able to control Havos, keep his farm down, and punish the fact that Funnick was completely denied, but that one fight at the Ancients, that's really turned this game around, and as well as the 2-hero RP over here by Dendy.
Yeah, and it was just Dendy picking up his Blink Dagger so much sooner than the Puck did. And the Puck at one point had 1900 some odd gold, and then he got killed. And it set his Blink down another minute or two, and Dendy just kind of extended his lead. And look how farm Dendy is this game compared to the last one. He's 3-0-3, he's almost got 100 CS, he's got a Blink, a Force Staff, and he's already got his Ogre Club for his BKB as well.
Dendy has the RP online. Blink Dagger getting cancelled by Flak, though, as there's a ward up this hill. So Dendy's going to back on out. At the same time, Cheshire Cat walks into Goblak. Blink available if Dendy wants to go for this. Does he engage on the Cheshire Cat? They get eyes on him. Chasing forward. Everyone being pulled back in. Dendy, quick, Force Staff in, but no follow-up. Havos just running Cheshire Cat down. Gets the kill with the auto-attack chase down. Not every day you see that. They look for the Dendy kill now, though. Blink. Ravage is there. Dendy now gonna skewer his way in. He gets the RP. This is Trouble City as now Havos arrives. Does battle on Ditya Ra, the Medallion used offensively. They'll get the kill there as well, and they're getting no trades. They're giving up 3 heroes, no towers being threatened, no Roche being taken, and Havos is just gonna start face rushing the tier 2 mid.
Yeah, this Medusa is way too large at this point in the game. Is that his Manta coming as well? Yeah, that's disgusting. He's got a 22-minute Manta, Lincolns, with an Aquila, and with all of these buffs as well. Like, I definitely didn't see that in the draft, and I definitely should have. Like, he's got the Bloodlust, he's got the Medallion of Courage, the Venjara, like you said. He already hits like a truck, he attacks really quickly at this point in the game as well. And PR, they've just taken inefficient trade after inefficient trade. And this Puck should have had his Blink Dagger at a much more reasonable time than that Mag did. But especially for the fight at the Ancients, he didn't. He just got set back behind a little bit too much. And now team fighting for them is really difficult because ideally you fight 4v5 and the Medusa can't really do much because he doesn't do too much damage early on. But with the Medusa being as farmed as she is, I mean, she's coming to every single fight and just becoming a blockade. Because PR can't ignore her at this point because she does too much damage.
Yeah, they can't ignore her. They really can't go on her because first of all,
what's
she's
the
tanky.
point?
Yeah, Funnick caught out bottom lane. Orb coming through. Chrono was there. Shade Show goes into the Chrono, but they get off the silence. Timely kill, and yeah, I mean, even if you catch Havos, and assuming you have the damage to kill him, which is a big assumption considering that they don't have great mana burn to deal with his mana shield, and he's got almost 1,000 now. You still have defensive swap. You still have blink counter initiation from Ravage, and you have the blink RP. It's you can't go on Medusa. You can't ignore him. I wouldn't say checkmate, but close to checkmate.
Yeah, PR definitely have when RP was just expended as well on Soneko. They don't even care at this point if they use the reverse polarity on him, as long as they have the Ravage or the RP up for fights. And PR are going to go for the Hail Mary Roshan, but I don't know if it even does too much for you here. Because it's not like the Gyrocopter has the same amount of farm as the Medusa is. And he's actually gone for the BKB, so team fighting here is a little bit awkward.
They kill it, but is it quick enough? Medusa has a double damage rune. 2-3 shots, braining them down. Now Deyara with the TP out. There's no wait. Oh, the swap, they get it off. Aegis dead. That's going to be 2 deaths for your Gyrocopter. Say goodbye to your Aegis, my friend. Shockwave now dropping a call down to little avail. Havos just laughs. It barely even tickles the Gorgon. They'll steal now the Ancients. And PR have just completely run out of gas in the middle of the desert, far from any sort of water, food, respite. Look at this gold graph, just swinging right back the other way. 5k gold swing, 7.5k spirit swing, with a Medusa that's 6k gold up on the enemy Gyro. This game almost out of reach, it feels.
Yeah, it was that one really big fight. I think PR kind of had the right idea. They were like, oh, well, we kind of have to engage them before the Medusa gets too fat. But then the way that they went around engaging was a little bit poor. And against the lineup with the Medusa, you can't really make mistakes in the early game. Because traditionally, this is a hero that you see struggles in the early game to kind of do anything in fights. But I mean, when you're this farmed, you can participate in pretty much every single fight that you want to. And just fight after fight has gone wrong for PR. I know we criticized the Tidehunter by Funnick a little bit early, but he pretty much did what he had to. He ignored the early game fights, realizes he's kind of useless without the Ravage in the first place. Without Arcane Boots, he can't really contribute too much to fights either. And he just focused on himself for a really long time, and now it's paying off. He's got the Blink Dagger, he's got Arcane Boots. I mean, you don't really need anything more on this Tidehunter. And he's gotten them at a reasonable time too. I think it was like 15 minutes for Arcane and the Blink Dagger. And so they don't really need him for these fights right now. They're winning these fights pretty handily 4-on-5, but he's just an extra element that PR has to worry about.
Havos now completing his Demon Edge. We'll see if he goes for that Daedalus or even MKB. He is very fat. 18k net worth. We're 26 minutes in. He's still sitting at like 800 gold per minute roughly, or 700 rather, and pushing forward, looking for a tier 2. Best defense against this, well, your Blinding Light, I suppose. Just trying to slow him down. They TP in the Venge mid. Rob Blink Ravage.
Oh no!
Wah,
Oh, Funnick!
wah.
He blinks into the trees.
Caster's Curse. Well, you're like, yeah, Funnick was doing exactly what he needed to do.
He was.
You know, he's. I know. We were criticizing him, but well, it's not his fault. And then immediately whips the Ravage. You're a jerk. You jinxed him.
I mean, because I know what it's like to be in that situation, especially as an offlaner. But yeah, that Ravage was...
Oh no, I agree. It's your fault. It's not his fault though. It's your fault. That's what I'm saying. Meanwhile, there's a Chronosphere in the mid. As Havos will just Stone Gaze.
Stone Gaze is popped like...
You can't go on that, dude. So you can't ignore him either. As Havos will lay into Ditya. He's gonna just slowly work his way out of this.
He's got like full HP still.
They've used Chrono, and your Void barely surviving on the way out. Chased forward by Dendi, searching for the long-range Shockwave. No Chrono, no cooldown for 30. NaVi, Bounty Rune now snag. Yeah, because he needs more gold. I mean, why not? Tier 1 will be an easy take bottom. They're going to go for 2 here, if
Nobody
not
even has a butter yet. He's just like, well, I've got the money.
It's an insurance policy, and just in case he decides to throw a little bit, don't want to get caught with the Daedalus and not have any way to deal with evasion.
Yeah, at this point I think Havas is too big. I think PR had the right idea with the last pick Keeper of the Light, because if you look at Navi's lineup, like we said, they're really item dependent, and they're really spell heavy, and so if you got a really quick mech on the Keeper of the Light, yeah, maybe he provides a lot of insurance against the initial burst damage, but the problem is he didn't get the mech fast enough. Like, he did the stacks in the jungle, which were kind of neat, right? But he didn't actually get the mech at a reasonable time, and now it feels kind of like a wasted pick.
Yeah, didn't put any pressure early on the lane. They still did a good job of shutting down Funnick, but wasn't really able to go around and like apply pressure towards the Magnus mid, which ended up getting a really fast blink, so a fairly inactive laning support generally, as they will jump in mid lane, but Vangscore gets off the quick stun on Cheshire Cat. Didn't even have Chrono,
yeah.
Just a ballsy little maneuver, but not very successful.
His Venge already has 18 armor, and she's got 1400 HP. You definitely weren't going to kill her. And she's got 20 armor now. My mistake.
Oh, just for good measure. TP into the trees? Well, no, oh, no Ravage. That time he would have found him, too. Poor Funnick. Can't catch a break.
Yeah, but it's okay at this point. This is pretty much what PR has to do to get back into the game. You got to go for the split push. When you're this far behind, you can't go for the direct engagements. And Shadeslow's item build has reflected that. He's gone for the Yule Scepter and the Hand of Midas after the Blink Dagger. It's super late, but they recognize pretty correctly that the only way that they're going to get back into this game is apply pressure, kind of concede the fact that maybe one of your heroes gets picked off every time, but you kind of have to like trade that in lieu of towers. It's like instead of giving up towers, we're giving up individual heroes here and there. And then maybe just hope for the Hail Mary plays. But I don't even know, because normally it's the Chronosphere that gets you back into the game, but it's been largely ineffective, especially because of the Stone Gaze, like you said. And you don't want to Chrono the Medusa because there's no point in it. It's almost like a lose-lose scenario no matter how he builds his hero.
Yeah, it's not good. I guess the only piece of good news for PR is that Medusa is a very clunky hero, so Havos not able to like instantly start threatening buildings the way, you know, a Naga Siren or Terrorblade maybe could, but yeah, Cheshire Cat's like, oh, Time Walk initiation. Oh wait, that's Havos. Hello, Suniko. Chase forward with the Bloodlust. He's running at 482 move speed.
He's so fast.
And he gets chronoed. Good luck with this one. I wish you all the best. They actually do a lot of damage, but then Denny, the 4-hero RP. GG. Any minute. 5 heroes down. Insta GG. That was just a brutal smackdown. Behold the horn in all its glory.
Oh my god, Havos is farmed. Like, you can't fight at that point. When he gets a 20-minute into Lincoln's Phase Boots, Aquila, and your supports have core items as well. Like, the new medallion is excellent, especially for the Medusa. It's kind of like a Wisp in some regards. You just keep people alive, you swap, get them out of position if they are caught out for whatever reason. And with the combination of all those things, you have to also be cognizant of your position at all times for the RP. It's just a little bit too difficult to fight. The Medusa just got fat way too quickly.
With that said, guys, Game 2 now in the books. We're going to head to a deciding Game 3 soon. PR unable to close out NaVi, now on the brink of getting sent to the wildcard relegation rounds. But they still go to China no matter what. NaVi, one more win. They face Hellraisers. The same true for PR. Both teams looking for redemption here as the Dota 2 Asia Championships continue. We'll take a very quick break. Be sure to follow Blitz, of course, at Blitz_Dota. Myself at LD Dota. We shall return for your deciding Game 3. Stay tuned. You're watching Beyond the...